The whole idea for Sub 15 came about back in November. We had been discussing with my friend Kirk Dorton about the idea of retiring from running and being satisfied with the times that you've run. And one thing that has always nagged at me is the fact that I've never broken 15 for 5K. So as Sam and I left the restaurant, I asked him, would this be something he'd want to pursue together to try and break the 15-minute barrier?
I didn't care that I hadn't broken 15 so much as I just felt like a fat piece of shit.
So with that in mind, we decided probably the best way to stop being fat and lazy was to find a way to hold ourselves accountable. And what better way to do that than make a blog that no one reads on the internet?
I remember I was at a conference and Steve sent me an email. He's like, hey, check this out. Check out this blog. And so I went online and there was this really long introduction of this project. And you could tell he'd put like hours into this introduction. And from there, really, there was no going back. We had to keep going. I think, in general, for the casual runner, they can look at this as a rough roadmap in order to get in shape. A lot of these workouts can be modified by increasing the rest or just slowing down the pace a little bit. In general, they're just a good way to break up the day-to-day monotony of running.
I think there was, for the most part, overwhelming support for this idea. There definitely were a few detractors who questioned whether or not this project would be viable.
Running around with reindeer antlers on, running 1 mile in 5 minutes, and then a few other intervals 5 months before the race, like at goal pace, low volume, too much rest.
Will Seidel can go fuck.
The other aspects of this blog are, first, that all the workouts we do are generated by you, the viewers. And that idea came about because when I decided I was going to make a blog, I wanted it to be something that was interesting to people and have it be something that they would come back week after week to look at. And no one's going to want to come back to hear about the workout you made up off the top of your head and ran.
You're going to do 3x200 at 33 seconds with 200 meter recovery. Then you're going to do 5x1000 at 3:08.
They want to see the workout that they made and gave to you and then you failed miserably at. And so that's why I think that's how that format came into being.
One thing that really intrigued me about this project was people put so much emphasis on the actual workouts themselves. And I think, while everything we did came from people who were pretty accomplished runners for the most part, just the fact that it's so haphazard kind of proves that as long as you're doing the base, you're doing your long runs, and you're working on some sort of periodization, what you're actually doing, the details of what you're doing matter a lot less. And there are a lot of ways to get to the same destination.
I think the hardest workout we've done so far has to be Chris Camp's, who also gets the award for most creative introduction. Basically, it went mile, 8.8422 times 3 sets, and they were all fast.
So one video submission that I think really took things up a notch was from Rick Ambrosio, and he actually serenaded us with a ukulele tune in order to explain what the workout would be.
But you know what? I learned to play the uke last week, and figure I'd write you a song. So here it goes.
I think the ukulele tune really inspired Sam and I to run a really great workout, so thanks, Rick. That also happened to be one of our first workouts run in the snow of the Syracuse winter. I think we expect things to just get worse from there and snowball, if you will.
Hey guys, it's Friday, 1 week after our debacle of a 3K. Another video introduction that I really enjoyed was Matt Walsh's.
Oh, Hello. You caught me as I was just investigating some of the finer mysteries of our universe.
And apparently he did that totally ad-libbed, without any preparation whatsoever, which fits Matt's personality perfectly.
Anyone can run quarters, but it takes a rare man to run a 500.
Probably one of the worst things I've ever done in my life is crew a 200-mile race. For those of you out there who've never had the joy of crewing an ultramarathon before, what this basically entails is sleeping in a car for 3 days straight and giving your friend turn-by-turn directions as he jogs his way to a race that he's running by himself.
So the first workout we did from somebody we didn't know was Chris Williams, who's currently in the UAE.
I'm currently living in Dubai in the UAE, where the running challenges are totally different from where you guys are.
At the time, that was almost impossible. We ended up running 255, 257, 259. It felt like we were sprinting the entire way. Probably still will feel like we're sprinting when we try to break 15 minutes.
You know, sometimes when I'm lying in bed at night, I try to think about what the worst video submitted to our blog was. And it's hard to pick because there were really a lot of awful ones. People don't know how to hold a camera steady. They bob back and forth. They say over and over. But the worst by far was from Nate Parenti.
The workout that it shows is pretty straightforward and simple. It's something that I thought would be cool to try myself, but I've never gotten around to it, mainly because I'm kind of lazy.
And you expect more from someone who is the creator of the stomp dance and is a champion of just an amazing sport like DOB, DFB, DOB.
One workout I knew I was never going to do was the Bon Jovi Mile, and that involved 4 400s, all under 60 with a minute rest.
It really doesn't help your training at all. It sucks, actually, and it was invented by a guy named Bon Jovi. He had no actual training to be a coach at all, and he just wore teal jumpsuits, and he would run with us, so I guess that made him qualified. It works 2 different systems at once, endurance and speed. It doesn't benefit either, but it works both of them at the same time.
And I just know that that level of pain wasn't something I wanted to experience training for the 5K.
So I think the hardest workout submission that we received was from Stephanie Pritchard. And she was at least nice enough to submit her video while practicing some transitions for the triathlon.
I used to be just a runner, but now in my spare time, I do triathlons. One of the workouts that I like to do over the summers, is hills.
Which was entertaining. But the workout itself was a real ball breaker.
It's 2 down.
So we ran a lot of workouts, not just the 2 of us, but there's a lot of people that joined us along the way.
I'm not saying you can't do it. You're saying you're gonna need at least a dozen to 15 races before.
We're doing 16 by 100 in 16 seconds, each with 16 seconds rest in between.
1 set down. Yeah. Rest is pretty short.
I hope to God no one notices me. Or recognizes me.
I think they're going to notice you.
Feeling for lilac?
Excuse me?
How you feeling for lilac?
I feel good. I feel like I'm ready.
Someone else who was nice enough to join us on the majority of our runs were our dogs, and they were featured in a lot of episodes. Sit. High five! Sit.